My name is Darren Hupke, and this is Pixels and Polygons. Welcome to a new week of the show. It's Friday. Got some good stuff going on today. It is a new guest episode. So, brand new guest. Won't spoil it here. They introduce themselves at the start of the episode. So, you can skip ahead if you don't want to hear me ramble here and join in on the fun. The question we answer is, what is a game you love or an average game that you don't think gets enough attention? Oh my gosh, I just ruined, whatever. I guess it doesn't matter the exact formatting of that prompt, but we've answered that question numerous times with numerous guests, but it was fun to answer it with a new voice. So enjoy the episode and have fun listening while you're doing whatever you're doing. Oh, I don't know. I just completely blanked on how to speak the English language. No other real big updates. By the time this comes out, production should already be done for the next issues of Retro Game Zine, but the newest issue will be live. Project Firestart, issue 4, available on pixelsandpolygons.net. You can also buy it digitally from my Patreon, patreon.com/DarrenHupke/shop. You can find links for all those things in the show notes below. What else? Just kind of still cooking and trucking with all the usual stuff. You know what? I think that's it. If all goes well, this episode will should be live. Oh my gosh, my timeline's all messed up because I also am editing these in advance now because I'm getting ahead of the game and having fun. Well, the benefit of me editing these in advance, another Patreon bonus, if you are a paid tier backer, you get the episodes a week in advance, so you kind of get them early. I don't want to force anybody to have to pay for anything, though, if they don't want to, so you can continue to listen for free and get the regular schedule there. But because I've gotten a jump on the editing game, I've been releasing the next episode a week early, so you could always listen there on Patreon. But if all goes well, I should hopefully have a table at the Game On Expo out here in Arizona. And that will be the weekend this episode goes live. So, hopefully I got some good news and I'm able to have a table and I'm able to meet some folks and sell some books and zines and shake some hands and, have all the fun stuff. If not, I may still pop in there, as just a walking around, visitor and everything and checking the sites out. There's always really fun, large arcade and playable games and really cool vendors and everything. So, I'll attend as a fan if, worst case scenario happens. But, other than that, that's all I got. I got nothing else. I was trying to stretch this out with stuff, but y'all just enjoy the episode, enjoy the podcast, enjoy each other, be good to each other, play some fun games, do some fun things, be some fun people, and we'll catch you again next week. Bye. All right, welcome to Pixels and Polygons, my conversational podcast about video games. This week I've got a new guest. So it's the year of 2025 has been introducing me to a lot of great new folks. Really, it's all blue sky and like the orbit of folks around like retro gaming and everything that I have to thank for this. But yes, I have Aaron Clausen with me. Did I pronounce that right?
Yep, you nailed it, dude.
Okay, man. It was in my head for the last 2 minutes there once you shared that. But yeah, welcome to the show. Obviously, first time on the show, so I really want to make sure we just kind of like learn who you are. Tell us about what you do and what's gotten you involved in like the retro gaming world, and yeah, we'll go to like the icebreakers after that. But yeah, tell us a little about yourself, Aaron.
Yeah, so I'm just a regular old goofy guy. I do a podcast of my own with a friend of mine, Jerry. We do SuperPodSaga. We used to do like a retro only podcast called Retro Rehab, but we just melded that into SuperPod. It's the same show pretty much. Why do two when you can just do one? Other than that, I'm a really big fan of deep diving into anything retro, finding any like hidden gems or games that kind of swam under the radar that people aren't appreciative of now, and then kind of unearthing those for everybody. Like, hey, if you guys sort of In the Hunt on PS1, it's a really awesome game, and most likely, no, people don't know In the Hunt, but you should. It's awesome.
That's fun. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like what I've been doing with my Retro Game Zine project and everything. It's like I'm trying to pick obscure games that I loved growing up, but then now I like to challenge myself to pick a game that maybe I'm also unfamiliar with, and like, why should there be an issue of this on like Blue Stinger? You know, I guess that's maybe a bad example. Everyone loves how bad and good Blue Stinger is, but Project Firestart was a Commodore 64 game I did an issue on that'll actually be out in a couple of days, but I had never played that ever beforehand, but the contributor, also somebody I met via Blue Sky, it was just kind of a neat concept to maybe like just play something new, and who would dedicate a whole single issue zine to like an obscure game like that? So it makes no sense, but it's also fun to do, to deep dive and find those fun details and learn something about something new like that, especially from a classic video game.
That is really cool, man. Yeah, if no one else is going to do it, why not you? Why? Someone needs to bring light to these awesome hidden gems. Like everybody has played and knows about like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI and all the good stuff, but like nobody else talks about. Maybe Breath of Fire 2 isn't a deep cut. I'm trying to think of another. Terranigma. There we go. It's a deep cut, possibly.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I love the good stuff. Obviously, I'll buy books, and I'm staring at the boss fight books, Chrono Trigger book I have right here on my desk that I've been reading right now. And I will continue to read about all those great games, but I also want to make sure there's space for the weird ones and the obscure and forgotten ones as well.
Oh yeah.
Which is kind of what we're going to talk about for the question for the episode. But before we get to that, let's do a couple this or that questions and an icebreaker thing to kind of get warmed up. Does that sound good to you?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
All right. Since we're feeling you out and we need to learn a little bit about you, Aaron, are we console or PC?
Console, man.
Okay. How about cartridge or CD?
Oh, that's tough. I would have to go CD though.
Okay. Guns or knives?
Oh, knives, because I always think of that scene in Resident Evil 4 where Leon has that cool knife fight with Krauser.
Oh yeah.
Can't get that with guns.
Well, that's a great moment too. Ryu or Ken?
Oh, Ryu.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
How about Tekken or Street Fighter?
Oh, Tekken.
Okay, that's a cool choice. I feel like Street Fighter's like an easy one, but I love me some Tekken. I mean, Tekken 3, Tekken Tag. I've spent hundreds of hours with Tekken. Sonic or Knuckles?
Sonic.
Okay.
Too traumatized. Too traumatized by those treasure hunting levels in Adventure 1 and 2.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Okay, and then we'll land the plane here with pixels or polygons.
Polygons, man.
Okay. Gotta get those
Something
triangles.
about those polygons.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Well, hopefully that got the blood flowing to the brain, and we can move into the icebreaker. So obviously, we've talked about the question we're going to answer for the main episode in advance, but this is a question you have not heard in advance. So this is that make you uncomfortable, gotcha moment type question I like to do to make people not feel good and squirm. But let's see. What game character would you be friends with growing up? Someone you could see yourself kind of hanging out with and, hopefully enjoying being around and everything. I mean, like it'd be nice to have a bodyguard or something, sure, potentially, but This is somebody you want to be friends with growing up.
You know what? I'm gonna go with a childhood favorite of mine, and still a favorite of mine. I think I say this on like every episode of our podcast, but Final Fantasy IX is my favorite game ever. So I would go with VII. I feel like him and I would be best buds. We would hang out, have an ice cream, buy him like a root beer float or something, and just go skipping rocks and causing some hell all around town. I mean, yeah, I feel like VII could be a total bro. I mean, he has that short lifespan or whatever, but no, yeah, we could be bros in that short amount of time. Yeah.
And there might be some sadness in your young adulthood, but hey, at least the childhood will be all right.
Yeah.
So Final Fantasy IX, you mentioned that. I'd be curious to know, this is literally just for the science. Was that your first Final Fantasy? Like, were you of the age where that was the new one that came out when you were primed to play it? Or did you already were involved with the Final Fantasy series before that?
I was already involved before that. I think my first one ever was VII. Because my stepdad bought us this old PlayStation 1 from a trucker that he worked with, and it had both 7 and 8. And I started with 7, and then later on down the road, I eventually saw 9 at Walmart, and I was like, "Whoa, that!" Because I only know Roman numerals because I like taught myself that so I can understand what the Roman numerals on Final Fantasy games meant. And I was like, "Whoa, there's 9!" And then bought it, and it was really cool, and loved it ever since.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, 7 as well. Like, I had some exposure to them before playing them at like family member houses and read them about them in magazines. But 7 was the first one I played, and just that nostalgia and bias, like that is my favorite one of the series. But I just do know that like people can make an argument for 8, for 9, for 10, for so many of them to be like their favorite or like the best games, for them. And I usually I'm just curious if it's ever because was it their first one like me, or is there, another reason kind of tied to that? But okay, you're kind of breaking my science or my hypothesis, but that's okay. That's why we do the science.
You're shit. Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. I'm okay with letting the data like flow. I don't want to like lead myself to the obvious answer or anything. So like that's why we do it. Cool. Well, there we go. We're warmed up. I think we have the neurons and electrons firing. We're thinking clearly. Video games are on the mind. You just dropped and name dropped quite a few heavy hitters already, but I don't want to know about any heavy hitters right now. I would like to know what is a personal favorite game or an average game that you love that doesn't get enough attention. And then we can just have a little conversation about that game.
Right on, yeah. A personal favorite of mine that I tout almost constantly is that I just throw around like a wet towel. It's Custom Robo on GameCube, which I guess in Japan is called Custom Robo Battle Revolution. So everybody's how do I put this in? So like when you think of GameCube, everybody's minds immediately goes to like Super Mario Sunshine, Wind Waker, Double Dash, stuff like that. Smash Bros, of course, but Custom Robo is one that I think gets missed a lot, kind of unfairly. I think it got like middling reviews upon release, but it's actually pretty damn good. Like I replay it at least once every year, a couple of years, whatever. But it's just, first of all, it's got a really, really, really awesome soundtrack. It's some of the coolest little techno tunes you'll ever hear in your entire life. The customization, as the name suggests, it's off the charts. There's so many different parts of your Robo you can customize and everything. But I should have started with, I guess, what the game is, which is just like a robot fighting game. You're just this kid whose dad disappeared, and you're just going along in his footsteps, becoming a bounty hunter because that's what he told you before he disappeared. And so you get a job as a bounty hunter. And then eventually leads you to your dad, and then I don't believe there's anything worth spoiling in the story, but I'm just in case anybody decides to play it, I don't want to spoil it. So yeah, and then the story is just like goofy and fun and silly, like a Saturday morning cartoon. Like there's all sorts of little comedic bits, like your best pal Harry, he's just this goofy perv that you walk around with. Marcia has like a gigantic hair. It's really silly. And yeah, you'll every single confrontation you resolve by like a robo battle. Like nobody throws hands and like threatens to fight you or pull a knife or a gun. It's always like, I'll robo battle you over the last egg sandwich or whatever. And then sure enough, they do it. And yeah, the robo battling is just chock full of customization and strategy, and it's just so much fucking fun, man. It's so good, and hardly anybody has played this game or the other ones that run N64 in Japan. It's a shame. It's awesome.
Yeah, I was we're in a conversation with a couple folks. Shout out to my Illuminati friends out there. But talking about the reasons for the GameCube kind of still kind of having like a unique purpose right now. You know, a lot of those games have been ported forward. You know, you have an improved version of like Wind Waker. You have improved versions of Smash Brothers. You have improved versions of like Mario, obviously. Like, you know, even Sunshine's not necessarily even thought back of as, you know, one of the better Mario games necessarily anyway, which is odd. Yeah. I do think it's still entertaining. But Custom Robo is a game that for sure, like, I mean, technically, I guess it did continue. There were like a DS, and in Japan there were still like other ones as well. But you know, just a handful kind of continuing forward. But this is not one that's really kind of had like a major like next option or anything from Nintendo. This is one that you would need to go back and have that GameCube for to experience, especially if you're a North American like fan and everything. So it's kind of locked to that system. Yeah. What about the mechanics like drew you to it the most? I mean, did you play this like around launch? I mean, did you have like a GameCube in this era and that's when you first discovered this, or did you find this just kind of digging through, like looking for kind of cool retro games and everything?
Yeah, I played this as a kid. I remember, I'm pretty sure it had to have been Smash Bros. Melee. I remember seeing a trophy or whatever for Ray Mark II or Mark III or whatever, and thinking like, whoa, I never knew Nintendo had robot games or mech games or whatever, because I think back then mechs were all the rage with Gundam and stuff. But yeah, then eventually, I came across Custom Robo at I think it was a movie gallery. It was a movie rental chain in I don't know if it's the Midwest or if it's just Iowa, but yeah, I found it at a movie gallery, begged my dad to rent it, and just played it nonstop. Eventually, I got a copy, and yeah, I've just been in love with it ever since. I think I was, I don't know how old I was actually. I'm not going to try to go there. I think maybe 10, 11 possibly.
Yeah, that's a sweet spot for finding those fun games, those obscure games. I still was always obsessed, like reading video game magazines and everything growing up. So like I think I felt like I was pretty tapped into like knowing what was coming soon, or at least looking for like the strange and the bizarre and everything. But nothing beat like a good like video store trip where you can just like scan the games and like something just jumps out at you and you don't know what, you don't know why, you don't really maybe even know much about it at all, but like, you know, something tells you want to take a chance with it. And it was like pizza. Like you never, even if it was a bad game, it was a new game in your current like world. So you would kind of stick to it and like, you know, warts and all, try and like have some fun with whatever entertainment you can find out of it. So it was a good way to kind of force yourself to still maybe play more and find a reason to enjoy a game that, like, you know, modern times, you know, you can play a quick demo on Steam, you can download something quick, you can, you know, watch like a hands-on thing for it and just quickly pass and judge and move on from a game without really being forced to like take it through its paces and see what's really making it special. So it was a different time, especially as a kid, you know, where you had to commit that time. So this Custom Robo, you know, is definitely a game I think that slots that in that way for a lot of folks, being unique and special as it is.
Yeah, dude, there just wasn't anything else like it on the GameCube, or I think maybe there were other games like it on like PlayStation and stuff, but just it was so unique, and I never found anything else like it. Quite a few other games that I've rented at movie galleries kind of came close to it, like Robotech, I think is the Robotech Battle Cry or something like that.
That PS2 one.
But yeah,
Or,
yep.
Yeah. I mean, I had, I mean, I might be a little older than you, just by a couple of years or so. But the, like Armored Core series, like on the original PlayStation, did that for me. Like, I think just, you know, giant robots that you can customize and all everything. I remember just playing a demo of the original one on one of their like pack-in interactive sample CDs and stuff that Sony put out. And like, you know, being able to change your legs or mobility side of things, be able to change your arms and what type of weapons fired, and like, you know, paint styles and visual looks of it, you know, like making something your own, like rather than playing as the assigned character, but instead making like your stamp on the player character, the controlled character, was always a rad thing. And, you know, not every game gave you an opportunity to do that. So, I mean, Custom Robo obviously did a similar vibe to that. I think you don't see that, you know, I guess Armored Core has come back, you know, there's been flavors of that. Obviously the Gundam, you know, like you mentioned, kids loved, at least kids I went to school with loved buying like those models and putting them together when I was growing up and everything. So people all want to, like, you know, have their hand on giant robots, and the idea of customizing their robots. It's an understood and assumed a joy in life. I mean, I definitely, you know, it's probably a significant danger if it was real, but in video game form, it's definitely high entertainment.
You're bringing back memories of I think it was the first Armored Core as a kid. I do remember coming across Armored Core on a demo disc. I forget if it was one of the Pizza Hut ones or if it was something else. And you can see your robot just walking along these walking along these highways, and you're gigantic compared to these little tiny like ant cars that are running into your feet and such. That was so cool.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, Custom Robo is just it's so weird. It's so different. Like Custom Robo is it's similar to a lot of these other customizable mech games, but it's also so very different because, yeah, Custom Robo, you're not a gigantic mech just walking your way through town. You're in these like virtual coliseums, and it's like a virtual game that you're playing with these robos pretty much, and I guess it's a lot more cartoony as opposed to how like realistic some of these other games get. Like what was that one on Switch, Daemon X Machina? That one was like if Platinum Games made a mech game, that'd be theirs. Well, I guess they did they make that one? I forget.
But I get what you're saying. What feature or what mechanic in Custom Robo like speaks to your nostalgia that like you'd want to see show up in like a modern game and come back? Like is there something in like its gameplay loop that you would want to re-experience or experience again in a new release, or do you kind of like to keep it there to make, you know, to keep that game special?
I think if Nintendo did make a new Custom Robo, they could make it probably one of their new, I guess, like top tier multiplayer games, because you know how they have those like spots in the Nintendo Switch app on your phone for like Splatoon and Smash Bros and stuff. Like they could totally do something like that with Custom Robo, because the main loop with, if you're playing the story mode in Custom Robo, is like you fight an enemy. When you beat them, you unlock a new part based on what they had in their arsenal, and you just kind of keep doing that until you unlock every part or like almost all of them, and just figure out what works best for you and your build. But the multiplayer, I think they could make it something really, really cool. Like just unlock everything right away, and then you can just mix and match parts as you're battling out with your friends online, and just have awesome, just so many wacky, awesome different coliseums or holoseums, I think is what they're called. You can duke it out with friends in. Like just one's either, you know, based on other Nintendo properties, or just have ones but just plain holoseums like you would see in the game. But yeah, make it like up to 8, 16. Well, I guess 16 might be a little bit too much, but 4 to 8 people would be really cool. Tag team battles. They could do so much with this. I'm kind of struggling to figure out where to begin.
Well,
But
this is what they do. I mean, like obviously, like you build your custom robo, and the modern creative version we're trying to come up with right now on the spot. You build yours. Maybe the game learns like the moves you use the most often, or the weapons you use the most often. It tries to learn your playstyle to mimic like a virtual version of you. But in this brand new Switch 2 that is coming this year, they bring back obviously like Street Pass like elements from the 3DS, and when you walk by other players, you're getting their virtual ID tag so that you can virtually battle them or watch a replay back of like what your AI version and what your combination of things look like to match up against theirs, or you can play live against them potentially. But I mean, I think there's a lot you can do with modern technology, especially with a mobile device like the Switch can be, if you had like those Street Pass style, like concepts like mixed in with it, because it is a, not a catch 'em all, but like the more combat you get in, like you said, like, collecting those points, maybe when you beat somebody, you get like a dog tag or like an emblem of theirs that you can stick on your helmet that shows that you beat them or something like that, like little battle victory things or something, but there could be some really rad things to do if they did want to like lean into that kind of like social interactive element or multiplayer element for sure with this. So I'd be curious. I mean, I wonder if they must own the IP of it. I know the developer has always been the same developer essentially for it, and it's kind of gone, but I would assume Nintendo owns the IP. So that's an idea. It's a free idea out there, Nintendo. So take it.
Please, Nintendo, I'm begging you. I remember seeing. So there's that new Direct tomorrow. I think at like 9 a.m. my time. Anyway, it's 8 a.m. Eastern. Anyway, I saw a post on Blue Sky, and someone was like, "What are your thoughts on the new Nintendo Direct? What do you hope to see?" And I was like, "I'm just throwing this into the void. New custom robo, like."
Yeah.
Just every single time, new custom robo. Come on, please.
Yeah, you gotta throw the names out there. You gotta throw the titles out there. Maybe somebody will just accidentally read it one day, and then there it is. So,
yeah, maybe someday somebody in Nintendo will be like, "Oh shit, I forgot about custom robo. Okay, maybe we should. Yeah, maybe we should make some free money off of this."
It's not that we didn't want to; we just forgot, and now we've remembered, and now cash rolling in.
Exactly. Yes.
Cool. Well, Custom Robo. There it is then. That's the game Aaron loves and wished got a little more attention. But that's also the podcast. We did the thing. We answered the question. And Pixels and Polygons is short and sweet for a reason, because we keep it short and sweet. Any last words? Anything you maybe want to share? Any like social media tags or things that you want people to follow? Also, like the website. Even I'll put it in the show notes as well. But if you wanted to share where people can find the podcast as well, let us know.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So SuperPodSaga.com. All of my stuff is there. All of my episodes, socials, and all that stuff. I'm a lot more active on Blue Sky and Instagram than I am anywhere else. Kind of get into Substack a little bit, but it's SuperPodSaga.com is where it all is. Go check us out if you like funny gaming podcasts. We try to cover a different video gaming topic each episode, and we like to add our chaotic and funny goofiness to each episode, and it's just you have to experience it for yourself. Just go listen to it and then you'll understand. But go check us out.
Right on. Well, you can find links to all of that to the podcast in the show notes below. But Aaron, thank you for joining. We will have you on a future episode for sure. And to break the fourth wall of it, we are going to record that next episode immediately after this. But I don't need to share that, but I always feel obligated to share that. Cool. Well, you have a good one. All right.
You too, man.
Bye.